This would be my fifth try at putting together a video of the stuff I've been working on for the past month, with just a little insight, because, you know, that's what I do, offer insight. I hope everybody is well. I believe me when I say I know a lot of us feel unwell for many reasons, but I hope you can find it within yourself to create a spring of wellness within and supply that love to yourself as we kind of go through some pretty intense evolution in our world. It's not to be part of doom and gloom, but hello, mandalas. Oh, look at this. That's right. I've been doing these now for, I don't know, 8 months to a year, somewhere in that range. I started out measuring and creating all these super sacred geometric mandalas, and I thought, I need to make this into something that allows people to remove expectation, to remove judgment, to allow themselves to just connect to their inner essence of creativity. And thus was born the watercolor mandala class that I already taught one of, but I think I'm going to do it again in May. If anybody is interested, you can pop a little message below the video and let me know. But I even was playing with creating a shape outside of, consecutive circles. But mandalas, a little bit of water. All of these, almost all of them, have gold and or metallic and or gel pen that have a glittery yumminess in them. Hello, calla lilies and gold. So when I stayed up at my daughter's apartment a month ago and watched her kitties, can't believe it's already been a month ago, there's 2 art stores that I like to pop in to if I'm running low on supplies or just to meander and look around and waste, a half hour of my time, which isn't wasteful because I'm looking at all things that I could have, not that I need to have. Anyway, I needed a pack of watercolor paper because I brought my journals up with me, and then I decided I wanted to just get creative and start making a bunch of papers. I use these for my business cards. I use them for bookmarks, all sorts of things. And one of the things that I really want to emphasize is the only way you learn about your supplies and your tools is to use them. And creating practices is not being wasteful. It actually is beneficial to your development of expression as a whole as an artist. So I bought a dagger brush and I created a pattern with the dagger brush in a gradient rainbow. And I will make more designs over the top of this to create a patterned paper. And this pattern we're going to talk about a little bit more. That's something else that showed up when I was up in the cities. And this was a new pack of watercolors I got. Gansey Tambai watercolors, or Kiritaki. And they're more like a gouache, actually, so you can get really solid coverage with them or super transparent. But it was kind of fun to play with just a small color palette on this one. And this is actually my Masha watercolors, which I love, and some of the Kiritaki graphite. So these are granulating like a graphite pencil. They have graphite in them. So once they're dried on the paper, as a watercolor, they don't move, but they definitely move around a lot if you were to get it wet again. So that's kind of cool. And this one This one has the Masha's watercolor on it. In fact, I think this is all Masha's watercolor with Posca pen and gold and layered ink tints on it. I'm not even sure. It definitely has Inktense pencil on it and regular pencil. But anyway, I start to see things repeating themselves in doing this work, things that I absolutely love, and then I'll keep repeating in other artwork. Some of this stuff has been in my art for years now. Ovals and gold line work and stuff like that. But anyway, this piece right here, let's have a talk about this one. Not in love with the colors, but I love the movement. I definitely will be changing this. I don't know how yet. The beauty of playing with your stuff is creating resolve in things that you don't like. You have to create things that you don't like in order to learn what you do like, right? So this will be in my pile of things that need to be resolved. And time will tell when it's going to happen. This is more of the graphite and the gold. Graphite watercolors. And some metallic watercolors from Artec, I think. More brush painting patterns. More of the graphite watercolor and metallics. I have no idea. I was just playing with tape. I ripped up tape, created shapes. Oh, more mandalas. Look at that. More tape. And my automatic writing and symbols. That is something else that I get asked a lot about. What does that mean? What does that say? I don't know. It doesn't have to say anything. What does it mean to you? I just channel it and put it on the paper. I can tell you how it'll make me feel. I usually am super excited and really energetic when I'm doing it. I think I was messing with creating a circular pattern or a repeating pattern of circles. Yeah, and playing with some Jane Davenport watercolors. This will also get altered and turned into something new. This is what I wanted to focus on. What do y'all see? I think 7 or 8 days that I was up in the cities, this was one of the first pieces that I started. One of the first pieces of paper I pulled out of the the notepad and literally just drew the hard lines. That was the first thing that came out of me. And I know it was showing me structure and confinement of being in the city, because that's how I felt. I was not expansive. I was definitely very in a box. I certainly appreciate people who live in a city. I understand why you're busy all the time, because there's lots of things to go and see and do. There's relaxing things you can do too. But I think my heart lives in the country or on the fringe of the city where nature is. So after I drew the lines, I pulled out my watercolors. My granulating, I think these are the Masha watercolors also. So they're granulating natural colors. And everything on here is all nature. Just from the sun and yellow flowers and peony petals and leaves, bark, a yarrow plant. I mean, just, I had to soften everything out of the contained structure. And then I put it away for a couple of weeks, and I pull out all of my paintings or all of the papers that I'm working on, and I just flip through them all. I work on whatever ones I feel like working on, and then I pack them away again. and then I pull them out again. And as I get them done, I put some away. I start new ones. I just keep working in that fashion. But I added the gold. Isn't that awesome? And after I added the gold, I didn't really notice it until this week when I pulled my stuff out to do the line work on the mandalas and adding some of that. I went, oh my God, it's a pyramid. I literally feel like I am soaring above a pyramid and looking straight down on it. And the gold is the energy traveling down the pyramid to the base. Now I pour pyramids for, and create organite pyramids and organite pendants and crystal jewelry and stuff too. And I literally start at the point pouring and move my way up to the base. And this is the reverse of that, looking down into it. And I thought, what a great confirmation of our current information that is being delivered about the pyramid in Giza and how it is an energy generator. The sun comes in, or the energy comes in from the universe, the ether, and hits that apex of the pyramid and travels down the corners into the earth. And I mimic this when I'm creating the pyramids that I make. I just was blown away by the fact that this was a reference to that, and felt very thankful that I can be consciously aware enough to recognize when I get yeses from the universe, or the hard no's from the universe are pretty obvious too, because a door gets shut right in your face sometimes, which can often make us angry, create resistance, and that resistance leads us to a breakthrough. So pyramid actually means fire in the middle. There's that apex. So in my true deep wisdom fashion, as I always do, I just thought it would be awesome to share the fact that right now we are living through some pretty chaotic and destructive times. Earth is going through massive shifts. We can see that from the earthquakes, the floods, the volcanoes. Things are really moving underneath Earth's surface, and the sun is blasting photon light and coronal mass ejection energy out into the universe. Some of it hitting Earth, some of it not. Thank God the one we had a few weeks ago didn't, because it probably would have brought the grid system down. But either way, that energy is pure potential for what we can do with it. We forget that Mother Nature does this repeatedly. There's destruction patterns that create an opportunity for clearing and new growth. I believe that trusting in nature's way of creating new will guide us in our ability to create new systems that benefit everybody, not just a percentage of the 1%. So with that in mind, I'm going to leave this video here going into Easter weekend and a resurrection mindset, knowing that it is from the ashes we are made new. New life forms. Life doesn't end, it transforms. We're in a transformation and an evolution. Let's love ourselves as much as we can through this. Let's give ourselves grace. Let's give others mercy. We don't have to agree with or accept what they're doing. We need to make our actions louder. We need to make our love louder. And in that process, ripples will create the change. Love you all. Be well. We'll talk soon. Hope to see you at some of my classes. Bye.